Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Galactic Reviews. This week, we're reviewing the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. It's the better version of the original Justice League movie. Let's just put it simply like that. Alright, so, Andrew.
He's human. He's not this broken husk of a man that a lot of other studios try to make him. That's just dark and brooding and fighting. It's hard to fake being charming and charismatic and this happy-go-lucky billionaire without actually having some of those personality traits. And he can still bring through some of those personality traits even when he's Batman.
I will say the best one that did that was probably Christian Bale's Batman. That was able to pull that off, but other than that, not really many other places have been able to do that.
I think one of my favorite quotes from this one and the original was, what's your superpower?
I'm rich. Another joke that was funny was when he went with the whole league down to his basically bat cave, and he was like, "This is Alfred. I work for him."
I will slightly go back and disagree with the Flash song, only because the image of Flash that I have in my head is very similar to that of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It is just this sarcastic kid of a superhero who almost doesn't take anything seriously.
And that was really the only downfall I had with this Flash, was the personality.
I actually ended up really liking this as Flash.
Yeah, after watching this movie and getting more understanding of why he's like this to an extent, I enjoyed this version of Flash, yes. But when I picture Flash, I picture just a lot of sarcasm, dry humor.
I think they did some of the lines good with the Ezra Miller's Flash. I just think, like, the first scene where he's at the dog park or whatever trying to get a job, I don't think that did him justice, and that was our first really good seeing of him, and that's what kind of just hurt him the whole way down, because we kept on picturing him from back in that first scene.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, that more hurt him than helped him. But that scene was phenomenal when we saw that power scene, when we saw what he could do.
How I see him, the dog park scene, that's kind of just how I've always viewed him. They basically gave him ADHD, which is what I was...
It felt like Jimmy Fallon was trying to play the Flash. Like, that's what it felt like at first. That's what it sounded like. It just felt weird.
Yeah, like it felt awkward, right?
Yeah, but awkward beyond all reason. Like, not awkward, like funny awkward.
In my head, Flash should have ADHD.
100%.
He is the embodiment of speed and fast thoughts and not being able to stay still.
I know one character that I believe that does have that is Booster Gold, and that's because he time travels, and so he's got a lot of stuff on his mind. And I think Justice League Action, if you've seen that one, he actually has a lot of ADHD where he just goes off and does other things where it seems like he's paying no attention, and you go find out that he's actually, the reason why sometimes he does that is because at some points he will actually have to go save time in like a moment's notice. So he'll go and do that real quick and come right back, and time will seem to not have passed. But Booster Gold is one of the ones that would more fit that description for me than Flash. But I see where you're coming from for that.
For me, that was fitting, but that's just because of my own personal mental image of who that character is. So I liked it.
I think the first time I really saw Flash in anything, and what I compare all my Flashes to, is the Justice League movie with the first encounter for Martian Manhunter.
Well, for speaking of Martian Manhunter,
I know, it was
presence
actually the best segue.
In this movie was very weird for me.
I thought it was phenomenal.
The last
scene, why didn't he come and help them before?
The last/second scene he was in, that felt fine. That sort of made sense. The scene where he was Mrs. Kent and talking to Lois Lane did not make sense for me. Maybe
okay.
Something, but
I can somewhat explain. So Lois is trying to get over the loss of Superman, and he's actually been through that. It didn't explain it at all in this movie, but Martian Manhunter is surprised from Mars, and he actually lost his family, and he is the last of his entire race. And he came down to Earth, and then that's why when the whole conversation with Bruce, where like he's been here for a while, taking many different forms, stuff like that. He actually lost his whole family, and he's trying to help teach Lois to move on. I guess in realizing that, he kind of understood that he has a stake in this world now too, as he's kind of moved on from that one into this one. But yeah, no, you wouldn't know that unless you kind of understood some of the character. and which I get that.
The movie I'm thinking of is the introduction to Martian Manhunter in the Justice League.
In the Justice League show.
Yeah,
Okay, I thought that's where you
and
were.
it was turned into a movie.
Like, even if you knew that backstory of the Martian Manhunter, for me, that just still seems weird. Like, he doesn't know Lois. If he knew Superman, it looked like he
Man,
didn't even
what are
know
you
him
talking
personally.
about? He knows everyone. He just has to think about them, and he'll go inside their brain and know everything about
Like,
them.
it's
Yeah,
just, it's not his business.
I
It's
Yeah,
get
but
it.
that's his
I
problem.
get
He
it, but
hears everything.
I think the thing was that he was trying to do some good without like showing the whole world that he's not one of them.
I guess another big part of it is that they showed no reason. He was
Yeah,
just
I
there.
think I
They
think
didn't explain.
if they showed at least some of his backstory, that would have been better. I
Yeah.
agree with you on that. All right, I'm gonna keep going chronologically here, since we moved around. So Wonder Woman's scene was better than what the Joss Whedon one was. She looked way more powerful in this one. I liked the explosion that happened when she did the cross or whatever.
Now, the
And
thing
I
is,
found that
oh, you
funny
mean in the
that the hat was the thing that came down, even
yeah.
though it did not look burned at all. It just
Now,
came down like it
I'll
was
only
right off his
say
head.
I find it a contradiction. She tried to make it so that that building didn't blow up, but in place she caused a small explosion on
Yeah,
that floor.
I find that ironically funny. Steppenwolf looks way cooler and has a backstory unlike the other one, which
You kind
Zach,
of
you
get to
will agree
understand
with.
this character
Yeah, you
more and more.
understand why he's doing what he's doing, and and you understand that he's actually trying to earn back his grace from Darkseid.
Steppenwolf was a child. Like, he had this like absolute longing and desperation in his eyes whenever he was talking about trying to get back.
He looked like somebody that knew he messed up real bad and was trying to work his way back into the graces of the
You kind
person
of
that he
want to
messed
know
up.
what he messed up at.
It was alluded that he tried to usurp Darkseid in taking over Apocalypse, but it really doesn't explain
Yeah, but
exactly.
they did it in a way where it didn't need to. They give you like a small, like two-sentence thing where all of a
Yeah,
sudden you understand that this is a dude looking for atonement. And
Yeah.
he's like, I've already worked so hard. And the dude's like, no, your sentence is still long. And he's like, I'll do it anyway because that's where I want to be. And I'm horribly remorseful. And
You
you
still got
almost feel
5,000
sorry for him.
worlds.
Really good.
yeah, and he looks way cooler than he did in Joss Whedon's one.
Yes.
Steppenwolf knows how to throw horseshoes the hard way. He plays a mean set of horseshoes. I think Scar does a great Alfred. I really do. I'm expecting at least some smile from Andrew. And all I'm getting is like the beard of shame at this point. I think Ryan Choi should have been Ray Palmer. That was a missed opportunity, in my opinion. Ryan Choi just recently became the Atom. All right, and Ray Palmer originally was the Atom, and Atom is the guy who is nanotech
Yeah.
genius in
No.
DC. I'm trying to
Pretty
explain
much.
for Andrew because he has no idea.
Simple version. He's like Ant-Man, just
I think
better.
that
I know
I
who
think
I know who the Atom is. I did not know there was a new actor for the Atom.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
yeah. Well, the problem was that's just recently though. That is just recently that they made Ryan Choi the Atom. Now I don't mind Ryan Choi if done right, and they did not do it right because they didn't bring in Ray Palmer first. I found it funny that the military ID sketch guy draws like a 5-year-old.
Oh,
Thomas draws better than that, and I'd even think Gabe draws better than that. I'm gonna be real with you, Andrew.
I think you draw better than that, Payson.
Thank you. I can do a mean stick figure. I found it funny that Aquaman litters as he threw the bottle down in the ocean.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
I also find it weird. How many shirts does he have? Because he just takes them off and leaves them on the beach.
Yeah,
Like,
he
how
must
many
spend a
shirts
lot
does
of
this guy
money
have?
buying new shirts. Or he
That
just gets
explains
them
where that
and
that stack of hundreds went.
so he
All
takes
right.
off the shirt, but he keeps the money?
Well, he still had pants. Zach.
He also didn't have the money, Payson.
I thought Volko and Aquaman had a way more interesting relationship in this than in Aquaman.
Yes.
In my opinion, it felt way more genuine instead of just, oh yeah, Volko is Willem Dafoe's character, Andrew.
The thing is, he goes to the resting place of the first king.
Just the resting place that they had in the Aquaman movie, except
Yeah.
in this one, it's not like on a secluded island where you can't really get. He's actually resting. That's where he wanted to be. Yeah, I don't. What are you laughing at?
Dude, I love Willem Dafoe. He looks so funny.
He does a great Goblin.
That was one of my thoughts during this movie. I'm like, he looks like such a gremlin.
No, he is the Green Goblin in one of the
Yes.
Spider-Man. Tobey
Ah.
Maguire's. Orm is seen more as a tyrant, like in the comics, than as a family squanderer, as just a younger brother bickering over that his brother is more entitled to the throne than he is. One of the problems I do have with the fight scene is that it should have gone on longer because Darkseid looked like he got taken out pretty quick
Oh, in
by
the
Zeus and
beginning?
Ares. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that should have gone on a little bit longer to show how devastating the attack was. I think that should have just gone on a little bit longer. I found it weird that Desaad is a triplet.
When I first heard his name, I thought they just like mispronounced Darkseid. That I
Just went
genuinely
with it.
thought that. It took a couple times.
I thought Amazons be pricks because I get the Atlanteans not going because Orm ordered them not to. Amazons literally could have gone in and helped the Justice League fight off
No, they couldn't
Steppenwolf.
have.
They didn't have a phone. How would they get the call?
They
They
had
literally
the
shot an
arrow,
arrow across the world to put on a fire to
but
show
they only have one.
Diana,
Magic.
hey,
They only
there's
have
an
one.
attack coming.
They only had one arrow.
That was a magic bow.
Actually, it was a magic arrow.
Yeah,
It was the
ironically,
arrow of Artemis, and they only had one.
well, I gotta say, she doesn't skip arm day, but she does skip leg day. I think Ezra Miller does a weird Barry Allen. Unrealistic truck driver, because I don't know of any truck driver that would just offhandedly just go down, knowing that they're driving a truck still, and just go down and
I take no,
pick
no.
up a sandwich.
If you played the remake for Resident Evil 2, you would be surprised. That's how that's how the very beginning of that game started. The truck driver dropped his sandwich and went down to reach for it, and thus there's the beginning of the apocalypse, or at least the first time you encounter a zombie.
Personal opinion, don't like how they race changed Iris West.
You mean like the DC CW show?
No, like here.
They did
In the
it.
movie.
They did it both.
Yeah, I don't like him in either.
I think it's fine. I don't have any beef against this one, just because like I don't care. That's the very simple is I don't care. Iris West does not have much significance to me.
So that was one of my complaints was when she is flung from the car, the face she's making when Barry sort of, eases her onto the ground, it looked like a Muppet just standing there.
Yeah, they
Just
should have made
flying.
it a bit more
He looks so
realistic.
calm.
You would think you would have like some kind of slow reaction, like
The next thing in the car model she was driving, I'm sure it didn't have seatbelts.
well, I mean, yeah, either way, no seatbelt, but you think she'd have like a reaction going through the air instead of, just puppet through it. It was just like, make some facial expression.
That reminds me of Superman's reaction to the Flash. That was really cool. That was really cool. The way they did that.
Like the weird alien mind reader thing. Thought that was cool.
Weird alien mind reader.
Yeah, like when they did like the weird alien crab thing
Oh,
that came off
okay.
the Steppenwolf's wrists
Yeah,
and went
no,
onto
yeah.
the Atlantean guys
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
the
I had
humans.
to remember what you were talking about.
I like the Bruce and Diana dynamic they had going on throughout the thing, with it somewhat being awkward, somewhat being liked each other, but they weren't there yet. I thought that was interesting.
I'll just say she likes younger men.
She's 5,000 years old, Barry. Every man's a younger man.
I
Kazoon
think
tight.
that was a great
I thought that was a great joke. Yeah.
I will say I loved the Aquaman and the Flash sort of
Yeah.
almost like Legolas and Gimli kind of thing going on.
Yes.
I just loved it.
No, I agree.
It was just so wholesome.
It was
But-
like he opens up and I didn't think you felt like that. I never said I didn't. I was
And
like,
honestly, I think Aquaman is almost like the realist of the group.
oh, 100%.
You honestly don't think about it, but when Aquaman points that out about Victor and what he's going through at that moment, when he says the kid, I mean, he's technically lost everything he ever has left today, and now he's about to go face 3 super robots on heroin. I mean, you gotta worry about the kid and his mentality. When he says that, I'm like, oh crap, he's right.
I mean,
Like
and
the
he
kid's
was
been through
really-
a lot.
He was really the only one against bringing back Superman.
I mean, I completely understand why though.
Oh, yeah. I think he was the only one that really saw the big picture.
Yeah, he's like, there could be a lot of things going wrong with this.
The part where he was pointing at Barry Allen. That was funny. I thought Ray Fisher did a good Victor Stone Cyborg. Thought he was good for that. I'm disappointed that we won't see him in Teen Titans if in that universe, but It's still good to see that cyborg. I liked how they did the origins for that cyborg, and I like how they made everybody showing how powerful everyone was, and yet showing that even though they were that powerful, they still could not defeat Steppenwolf without Superman.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting to show them
And
their
then,
power levels and stuff.
yeah, but the only thing is, it's like you show their power levels and then you show Superman. Superman comes in, gets hit by an axe, nothing happens. Breaks the axe. I'm like, your power level scaling is just a bit, I understand you try to make it seem like, yes, we need Superman, but make it a little bit more difficult so that it's like, it doesn't make all the other ones look worthless.
I think it's the difference between Superman and superhuman, more as like a category and then a
Well, yeah,
actual
I
title.
get that, but then you gotta think Wonder Woman is technically a god in and of herself.
Yeah, but the gods could get cut. Like we saw Ares fall, and the fact that the gods are basically gone now for some reason.
Yeah, but the thing is, then you have the next thing. Zeus and Ares took down Darkseid by themselves pretty much.
What I will say is regarding that, you get more information later that that was before Darkseid had come to the throne of Apocalypse, and that is before the Omega effect. That
Did they
he
reference that?
ends up becoming more. They did say that as a passing line that this is before he came to the throne of Apocalypse. That
Yeah.
he came to a world and lost to find the anti-life equation. So I mean, it's there, and the Omega symbol is on his chest, on his armor after the time, like the time
Okay. I
afterwards.
mean, because he probably got that in between losing this battle and becoming the king. Because I know he got it
Yeah,
before he became the ruler.
That was
yeah,
supposed to go more in depth in movie 2 or movie 3. In one of his interviews, he came out and like released his whole plan for 2 and 3. He
really.
basically said, yeah, Darkseid was gonna kill. If someone was gonna kill Lois Lane at the end of 2, which was gonna
Yeah,
prompt what we saw the 5-year skip that we saw that Batman had a dream about
yeah, the
for
apocalypse.
3, and then Batman was gonna die at the end of 3. Um, was his whole 3 movie plan.
I like the father and son dynamic of Barry and his father in prison. I thought that was good.
I
Um,
liked the father and son dynamic when Superman woke up and he was walking through his ship.
oh yeah. I thought that was interesting too. How they had Jarrell and Jonathan Kent both
Yeah,
talking to him in that instance.
and it was pretty much very similar things.
I like how Batman uses a batarang when showing the Flash, and then doesn't use one again. I like how J.K. Simmons does it. I think he does a good Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
He should have been talking to Detective Bullock, in my opinion. I think that would have been a better choice, just as a slight cameo, because I mean it was a small role anyway.
Yeah.
Detective Bullock would have been easy pull off. I like the Mara and Steppenwolf fight scene, especially when she starts like essentially blood bending. And I like the first semi Justice League fight without when it was just Cyborg, Flash, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I thought that was pretty good. I like story time with Cyborg. I thought that was good when he was talking about the mother box, when he like showed the projection from his head.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was
That was cool.
amazing.
That was cool.
So this leads me to one of the last few things that kind of bothered me through the story. But Payson clarified and it makes sense after he said it, but it's just still one of those things. So Cyborg was explaining the whole mother box and everything, how it's not good and it's not bad. It just either destroys or recreates. But then earlier it says that the mother box runs on fear of the inhabitants. I was like, isn't that kind of contradicting though? Because if it's not good or bad, and then Payson said the mother box has been used by Darkseid for millennia almost.
Hmm.
So I would understand that, but it was still one of those things like Cyborg just said it's not a good thing, but it's not a bad thing. It just bends to the will of its user. So if someone like Cyborg or one of the other group members gets a hold of it, then it can be used for good. So it was just one of those things that kind of bothered me. And this is taking a few steps back. I don't believe they showed the full ability of Cyborg because I think Cyborg is a lot more powerful than what they gave him credit for in this movie.
Well,
And
I
it
mean,
just
I
was
understand why they wouldn't go as far as to show
yeah,
his full power since he just became cyborg pretty
exactly.
much. But
On the
yeah,
contrary, I think they showed the full powers of Batman
Yes.
yeah,
because
100.
when they first fought Steppenwolf as a group, when they saved Mr. Stone, he was like, "I'm gonna punch one dude." He's like, I'm gonna find one and square up, and I'll work on taking him out for the next minute." Like he obviously was struggling with these alien creatures.
I
Um,
mean, then again, he's how old in this movie?
He's
That's what
like 40 at least,
exactly. So
Um,
and
physically,
he's already gone
that makes
through
sense.
at least one, if not two, Robins.
but then you get to the one where they're working as a team, the final one, and
Yeah.
he's taken out all of them. He's using the full extent of his knowledge, his strategic knowledge, his combat ability, his gadgets. He's using everything at his disposal and just taking out leagues of these guys. And so they definitely showed his full strength there,
Yeah.
which was I
Now,
thought was really awesome.
since you brought up the Robin situation, which Robin was Joker referring to?
Well, that's the thing. It never really says, but you assume Jason Todd. However, I have a theory that it's actually Dick Grayson.
That's who I was assuming because that
Because
was the
if it
one
is Dick Grayson,
Batman
it
was always
explains,
closest to,
yeah, if because that's the one he felt most connected with as a
attached.
son.
Yeah,
And if it was Dick Grayson, that explains why he went such on the deep end from going from batarangs and no guns to just completely guns and not even caring
exactly.
anymore. That is my opinion. However, it could still be Jason Todd.
I
Uh,
think my favorite thing was you don't send a boy to do a man's job.
yeah,
And honestly, that's really what Batman does a lot of the times when he sends one of the Robins to go do something.
yeah. But usually they've got, on most occasions, they got backup or they are either being monitored in one way or another.
And yeah, in one way or another. Um, I will
So they're
say
not completely
there's
alone,
a
but
lot of times, at least I know for Dick Grayson, where he would just like disappear and
yeah.
Batman just couldn't find him.
I thought it was ironic that Lois just got over Clark being dead and then he comes back to life.
I know it
Thought
was
that
like
was ironic and funny.
the thing was Martian Manhunter went there to try to get her to end going pretty much get over Superman, get over everything. And then she goes there for the last time to end it pretty much, and he wakes
Yeah.
up. So was he actually trying to help Lois Lane? Or was because if
Maybe
he
he knew the
didn't do
grander
it and she
scheme and if he did,
continued
yeah.
and
Maybe
if and she so I mean
who knows?
if she didn't show up then that would have been the end. So if Martian Manhunter went there, did all this, and she decided not to go for the last time, then I mean,
And another thing I like about the whole Superman resurrection thing is even the Kryptonian ship said, "Hey, the Mother Box is a hostile." And then all of a sudden, everyone's lined up like, "Hey, welcome back!" And all of a sudden, the Mother Box just snaps on Cyborg's like, "Attack! Attack! Attack!" So it's just like you have to kind of expect that to happen.
yeah,
Cyborg's just biased against the mother box. That's the only explanation.
Yeah, but it was just like one of those things like,
He's a mama's boy.
but yeah, it's just
that
one of
one
those
was a
things
good one.
like even the ship said, "Hey, Mother Box is a no-no," and then Cyborg tries to go greet
Yeah,
him.
yeah, waking up Superman is a bad thing. You'll destroy this timeline pretty much. And he's like, let's go ahead and do it.
I mean, as long as they protect Lois, that's all that matters. But that's
Well, as we see in the future, it
yeah.
fails
I
drastically.
wasn't going to say that.
Well,
Oh,
I mean, it shows it in the movie anyways.
exactly. Another thing, I love how they represented the flashpoint of Flash and how he does it. I thought that was awesome. I still, I even after trying to read on how Flash does the flashpoints, I still don't understand it. But I just thought it was really awesome to see.
Thought the Hall of Justice Easter egg during the cyborg mind thing when he was going through all the stuff through time, and
Oh,
also at the end when Batman and Diana were going to that hall. I thought that
for
was
yeah,
amazing.
for a brief moment, I thought it was back at a destroyed Wayne Manor,
Then
they
you saw the
explained
Hall of Justice.
that it was supposed, and I'm like, oh, it's the Hall of Justice. That makes more sense.
Yeah, and you got to see a dead Green Lantern right there. I believe that was supposed to be Tamar Ray. The fish guy from Green
Yeah, no, I
Lantern.
know.
That's either him or his son. And then I thought the Silas Stone sacrifice was good and it wasn't pointless because I remember the first 5 seconds I was like, why'd he do that?
Yeah,
And then when they
I,
explained it, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. They already built it all up for it
Mhm.
already. Jared Leto's Joker sounded like he was doing more of an impression on Jim Carrey than doing the Joker.
yes, but I'll say that was probably his best impression.
Yeah,
So I'm not upset with it.
I did like Deathstroke.
Yeah, Deathstroke's introduction was good.
Deathstroke was good. I think Jesse Eisenberg did a better job at portraying Lex Luthor in those 2 minutes than he did in
Mhm.
Batman v Superman. Anybody else?
I think my least favorite part of the movie was Cyborg trying to get into the mother box. I was so upset because the first time he's like, count of three, three, two, and then got taken out. And then all of a sudden he's standing here for like 20 seconds just while the Flash is just doing laps, yelling his name. And I'm like, say one. You can just say one. Like, he's there for seconds, for such a long time
And
when
you gotta
he's
think,
at the
you
same spot he
you
was
also gotta
before.
think, how long of a time is that for Flash?
Yeah.
Longer.
Also, you gotta think that Cyborg is trying to get into the mother box, which is essentially a living computer. He could have been very well overwhelmed with all the data and all the stuff, trying to maneuver
I
all
mean,
that.
yeah, I get that, but the first time he was like, okay, three, two, and then taken out, and he did all that in 5 seconds. So did it build a defense system in that like 2 minutes of them fighting?
It was the 30 seconds went on where he was there in position, ready, where he said nothing. That aggravated me.
No,
I
I do
think
agree.
I think it might have just been complicating to him and he couldn't quite grasp it for a while.
And then after he got out, he's like, Superman, help me rip these things apart.
So yeah, I agree with that. It took way too long, but in the same sense, I think it's where the synchronization of the cubes were not as well as they were when he got back to it. So I think the synchronization really is what took a lot of time because he was trying to do it as soon as like even they're halfway through because that would be easier to access. The more they synchronize, the harder it is to get into. I think that played a major part, and like Zach just said, just as soon as he's able to come back, it's Superman, come help me rip these things apart quickly.
Exactly.
So it just like how much of a time span like yeah, I agree. It's just one of those things.
No, I understand the problems with with some of those scenes. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. Still think Steppenwolf, even though his life was short lived, God rest his horns. I think he still plays a mean game of horseshoes.
Could have gone to the Olympics.
Yeah. I think he would have won. He would have thrown at least 4 horses
Yeah.
with women on them.
All right. I don't want to hear that sentence ever again.
Anybody got anything else to say?
I don't really think so.
Thank you for watching Galactic Reviews. This has been our review of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yeah, tune in next week when we get Andrew's choice, which is
Godzilla versus Kong.
yep. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell and share this video. Helps us reach out other viewers that are so desperate for this content.
I don't think that's the right word, but let's go for it.
Yeah. Sarcasm, Jack.
That's what I'm here for.